Hello and welcome to Crucible of Words for more dedicated legacy action. Today we're going to be stomping it up. This is a Naya Initiative deck that's been doing quite well. It's already put up a couple of challenge top 8s in the last week, so it's kind of the new stompy deck on the block. People were playing it a while ago and it didn't seem that great, but something about it has changed and I'm not sure what, so we're going to play it today and see how it feels. So this deck is trying to make a lot of mana early doors. So we've got Simian Spirit Guide, Elvish Spirit Guide, Lotus Petal, City of Traitors, and Ancient Tomb. We want to make 4 drops on turn 1. So we've got 4 drops of Seasoned Dungeoneer, Cavern of Adventurer, and Undermountain Adventurer. These are just going to completely win the game if they go unchecked very, very quickly. To back this up, we've also got some Once Upon a Time to smooth our opening draws to make sure that we can actually get the things we need down. We've got Archon of Emeria as like a 3-mana lock piece that's pretty good against a bunch of different decks. We've got Broadside Bombardiers, which gives us good board control. We can start throwing stuff at our opponent's face, at their creatures, whatever. We've got 1 endurance in the main, just as a little hedge on Graveyard Hate, and we've got 4 Magus of the Moon, which again can just lock people out. So we've got a couple of 3-mana lock pieces. Mostly we're just trying to make big monsters, and we do have some Solitudes as a win condition here. We have 4 Cavern of Souls because Human Warrior, Human Barbarian, Giant Warrior. So if we name Human or Giant, we can cast 2 of these uncounterably. Obviously, Magus of the Moon is a human as well. Golden Pirate, not so much. At the sideboard, we have 4 Clarion Conqueror, just another big piece that can mess with our opponents. We've got Touch of the Spirit Realm. We can use this to remove stuff or blink our own things and save them from removal. Bit of Graveyard Hate and Faerie Macabre that can be found off of Once Upon a Time. Some more Endurances. And then creature removal in the form of Pyrokinesis and Fury. I've played against this deck a couple of times, and it's quite scary when they just go and play an enormous threat super early doors. But initiative decks have fallen off for a reason, and let's see if that reason is still intact. Generally speaking, a lot of the tempo decks are pretty good into it, but maybe now that tempo decks are almost exclusively becoming Blue-Black Reanimator, which is like 20% of the meta, when the other tempo decks are like all less than 5 at the moment or something. Maybe this is the time for this deck to shine. We'll find out. Like, subscribe, let's get stomping. For the best Eternal experience this summer, check out Eternal Mania in Hasselt, Belgium from August 8th to 10th. Aside from hosting the European Legacy Masters, they have a whole host of other tournaments from team trios to old school and pre-modern. I will be there playing Legacy and hanging out as a special guest. This will also be the first event that I'll be giving out my own special Marital Age tokens, so why not come down to enjoy an awesome weekend ran by one of the best TOs in Europe. I'll keep this one. This is an interesting one. We'll keep this. We have the ability to Once Upon a Time as well, which can do a decent amount of work. If we find... And we can't find a Lotus Petal here, can we? But we could draw a Lotus Petal for turn. Basic island. So counter spells ahoy, is what you're telling me. Let's go Once Upon a Time in. Cavern of Souls is pretty good here. If we just make sure our stuff resolves. So if we want to get a turn 2 Seasoned Dungeoneer, I guess either way we're playing out this Ancient Tomb, right? And then we can decide what if we're gonna drop the Cavern and just make some Archons if we think that's gonna be useful, or we can hold it back and use it for the Seasoned Dungeoneer. Our opponent is brainstorming on our end step. That means they want to use their mana efficiently on their turn. So that could be a combo like Show and Tell here. It is Show and Tell. Show and Tell, traditionally incredibly good into stompy decks. Let's play an Archon of Emeria in case they put in an Omniscience. They can't play any more spells. How do we beat this though? I'm not sure we do. Magus of the Moon, that doesn't help when all their spells are free. We don't have a Witch Enchanter that we could have drawn. Okay, so we attack with the Archon of Emeria. Play this on human. If they're on like a slow line that involves them having to spend loads and loads of cantrips to get where they need to go with this Omniscience, then we'll be okay. I think I'm going to get a green source here because we can already cast an uncounterable Cavern of Adventurer. But if we draw the Undermountain Adventurer, we would need the green mana. So I'm going to take the Forest here. It does give away a little bit of information, but makes our draws slightly better. And maybe our opponent needs to like cast a stock up and they don't just have an Emrakul. And Atraxa is quite a strong one there, but we can attack through it with the Seasoned Dungeoneer. No Emrakul, but they can Cunning Wish. I guess this doesn't just win the game with the Cunning Wish though, because they can Cunning Wish on our turn, and then on their turn they can play the Shared Summons, whatever. That still doesn't get them an Emrakul that turn, so we still get another turn after this. The Seasoned Dungeoneer does get protection from creatures when it attacks. We could also draw a Solitude and kill it. I think we are forging here. Let's make our Dungeoneer as large as we can. Another Dungeoneer. Interesting. Let's attack with this one. Only one Dungeoneer can pump one Dungeoneer. Can't play the other one, get the extra one. Broadside Bombardiers. That does a lot of damage, doesn't it? I guess we'll play this forest they know about. And deploy another Seasoned Dungeoneer. So we have lethal next turn. They need to have an Emrakul. I haven't done the exact maths, but just eyeballing this. Then taking 5, going to 5 right now. And then we've got a whole bunch of damage coming in. The One Ring can buy them a turn. Here's a Cunning Wish. I guess they could just bounce our Archon of Emeria. And then... So they go and get the Sublime Epiphany, actually, don't they? Oh, Wipe Away. Same difference. So they bounce our Archon of Emeria. Maybe we're supposed to play a second Archon of Emeria that turn instead. But then we take 7. Our opponent's still on 10. So we get a 9. Then they go up to 17. And then we attack for 6. No, we had to play the other one. I think we're just dead here, right? Alright, you just carry on. So they get the initiative. That doesn't matter here. But they have all this stuff. So they should be able to cantrip their way into Emrakul and then we die. Okay, they're Cunning Wishing their way to shared summons and all that sort of jazz. Yeah, they got an Emrakul. And if we play the second Archon of Emeria there, it maybe gets counterspelled. But also, it doesn't help us enough because they attack for 7, we take 7. We're only attacking for like 6 and they're already on 5 more. So they're kind of countering our attacks just by attacking here. I think we're just done either way. Touch of the Spirit Realm, that can blow some stuff up. I don't think we need an Endurance here. Killing other creatures is useful. Magus of the Moon can be useful, they're not playing any red mana. Clarion Conqueror doesn't do anything. Faerie Macabre, Pyrokinesis, none of this stuff really matters. So it's a case of, what is the least worst card? Oh, so what is the most irrelevant card that we can trim for a touch? Maybe it's a Magus? Maybe it's the Broadside. Try cutting a Broadside. Because maybe Archon, they put in the thing, and then we Spirit Realm it, and then it's gone. Wait, does this hit? This only hits creatures, right? Creatures and artifacts, not enchantments. Okay. The turn 2 makes the moon that maybe stops them from being able to play the game. I will keep it. I want to see them lead on a non-basic land. It's technically a non-basic land. Are they going to go get basic here? They are. Okay, our Magus plan is rubbish, is what you're telling me. So Stompy decks traditionally have been so bad for... Show and Tell style decks have been so bad for Stompy decks that in the past, like the Eldrazi build used to run Confusion in the ranks so that when they Show and Tell, you put it in and then you get a random chance of getting their permanents. Okay, so let's put this on human. We've just got to race what our opponent's doing here. A turn 2, 4-drop. Seems pretty good. I think we're going to go get our basic planes here. I'll move on. So we can blink this to go up the initiative here. It will cost us our forge tokens though. Show and Tell. I guess it happens. We put in a Solitude as a creature, and we kill the creature. It's just an Omniscience and we die. Well, we don't necessarily die. Actually, we do. If they cast the Emrakul. Okay. Atraxa. You got an Emrakul over there? They do. Yeah, we're just stone cold dead here. This sort of matchup is not great for Stompy decks, but the Show and Tell decks are doing pretty poorly over the last couple of months. They're played a lot more than they win, if that makes any sense. So they are getting a lot less top 8 placings than you would expect if they had a representative win rate. Alright, on to round 2. This hand doesn't actually cast any spells. Well, you can cast Solitude, but that's not what I mean. Okay, this is the turn 2 Archon. And then we hope we draw a coloured source. That seems pretty sketchy, doesn't it? We're on the draw though, so we get 2 hits. Let's have a look. So we've got Caverns, Petals, and these, and Spirit Guides that can maybe get us somewhere. I really don't know about this one. Right. I'm keeping both of the land in case we get Wasteland so we can keep playing spells. And there's a Saga. Not a great thing to cast a Magus of the Moon into, truth be told. Okay, a Mountain's not nothing though. It does give us a Magus if we want it. We don't obviously want it now, but maybe we want it down the stretch. City of Traitors. Okay. I could just play a big Undermountain Adventurer. That seems pretty good here. End up throwing the initiative between us, but our creature has Vigilance, which is a real big deal here. We're going to get our last basic, and now our mana is fine. So this, they make a 1-1, it becomes a 2-2, it becomes a 3-3. That doesn't go well into a 3-4. But they could maybe equip it with something or play another artifact on their next turn and get a little bit more power. Which means we would have to just take it. The issue is, if we have to take it and then we can't get the initiative back, then we're in trouble. An upkeep activation of their Ezra Saga. And it turns into what? If they play a land, they lose a land at least. Last Spell Boots. Do you play a land and equip it? Because then we just... Oh, they're evoking a Fury. Well, that's devastating. So we lose the Undermountain Adventurer. Our opponent then gets to crack in, take the initiative, and we are pretty much done here. I don't think we're coming back. Yep, mountain. So we're going to get hit for 7. Okay, what is our solution to this? It's a tough one. So we probably need to draw... I was going to say we could draw like a Solitude, but that doesn't help us very much. Like, it kills one of their things. Like, if we could hardcast a Solitude, that'd be good, but we just don't have the resources to do that. A Lotus Petal. So now we do have the resources to do that. So we need to preserve our life total a little bit here. Just stop our opponent from producing more things that we have to care about. I'm not going to play out Magus as well. Maybe we should. We could double block. Maybe that's better. I don't know, I feel just checked out this one. We just got bodied really hard in that last turn cycle. So if we play out the Magus, we get to block one of their guys. We lose one of our guys. Actually, that's not true because they have forging, right? So we'd have to block the 4-3. Maybe we would have been okay. Okay, yeah. If they have any artifact, then we're not okay. So we wouldn't have been okay there. We could have traded away their 5-4. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we are... I think we're just going to scoop this one up. If we play out the other guy, we chump block. We trade 2 creatures for 1 there. Then they have a 6 power creature next turn when they stick the boots on it. And we'd have to draw exactly Solitude. Maybe we could have played that one better then. Let's have some removal spells. And I like Clarion Conqueror because our opponent is a 1-ring deck. What looks bad here? Magus of the Moon comes out straight away. That's the worst card. And then we don't need an Endurance, so that comes out. That's still a lot more things. So at the moment, that's getting us, what? These. And then if we want to add in more, we need to trim more. Archon on the play is pretty darn good, though. Do we need... So this can exile artifacts. So maybe that's better than having the Clarion Conqueror. Although flyers are really good in this matchup as well. We need removal spells. We need our payoffs. I don't think we can really cut anything else. Maybe we can cut like one Once Upon a Time for like a Touch of the Spirit Realm. Because we want a Once Upon a Time in our hand, but we definitely don't ever want 2. What does this do for us? It's very fair, isn't it? Okay, turn 1. I guess this is okay. Like, we have a lot of removal spells for our opponent's creatures. Because we can Solitude something and then throw it with a Broadside. The mana here is ugly. We'll probably go Cavern of Souls, name Archon. Oh, I don't like this very much. But I think this is correct. So we could have gone City of Traitors, played out the Broadside, attacked. Next turn, play the Cavern, lose our City of Traitors, and then play the Broadside. But I don't think these 2 cards alone will be enough to win the game. Your opponent, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, sure. It's a good card. Cavern of Souls. Okay, we'll save that for later. Let's get this Archon in. So now we at least have the mana to get 4 mana when the time comes. We will use the Spirit Guide for the Bombardiers. Although if we draw an initiative creature, then we can put the Cavern on that. Archon is a bit of a number with trying to do Bombardiers and Solitude things. But hopefully we won't need to use the Solitude just yet. That's a Fury. Okay. Goodbye, Archon of Emeria. So presumably they're going to play an additional spell this turn. Hopefully it'll be something that we can get some value with this Broadside action. The old Urza Saga. Yep, and they've got some token stuff going on as well from the treasures. So I'll be able to leverage this in a big way. The 1 ring. Yeah. I think our opponent's Stompy deck is much better than our Stompy deck. I just think this sort of stuff is way better than the initiative, and you don't run that Razor's Edge of what if the initiative goes wrong and our opponent gets it. Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Okay. Probably gets us a white source, or is it a green source? Probably a green source, actually. We have red for Bombardiers already. We want green in case we draw the other guys. We just have more options. Okay. Can we retain the initiative? We have a Solitude we can pitch cast. Now, we do a lot of damage when we start turning our guys sideways, but it feels pretty sketchy. I would like to be able to Solitude on the attacks, so we can Solitude, kill something, and then throw it with the Bombardiers. How much damage does this do? 5, 6, 7, plus another 7 is 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Obviously, if we Solitude one of their guys, they're going to be gaining life, so the mass is going to be a bit squiffy. But they're not making tokens this turn, unless they find an Ancient Tomb. I guess they could attack with the Goblin. We can eat that up, and then they can play something else. Alright, are they going to trade a Goblin Shaman for a treasure? They are not. Okay, so we get a good turn. Okay, they really want the treasure. Don't think we can afford to use a Solitude to deal with that. We can't let them have the initiative. Okay, they just want the treasure more than anything else. Let's forge. We need to go big. Undermountain Adventurer. So we could play the Undermountain Adventurer. We could Broadside Bombardiers. Solitude this. Dome them for 7. That feels really strong. So let's do that. Caves of Chaos Adventurer might find us a land, but we need to play this pre-combat to make that work. Alright, so we go to attacks. What are we going to get off this Caves of Chaos Adventurer? It's not a land. Let's get the Solitude in. Dome them for 7. I can't copy anything here. Take a big old hit. If they want to try and take the initiative by spending all their mana to make a token and equip it, that probably ends up okay for us. We can't do anything with this, so we just let it go. We have a lot of damages. So they're going to 3 here, so we can fling pretty much anything with the Bombardiers, and it'll be good. Interesting they're drawing in response to the Urza Saga. I guess they may be looking for Simian Spirit Guides, trying to get the most information whether or not they're trying to activate this for mana or activate it for a card. But I guess if you draw more cards, you might hit the thing you want to tutor off of it as well. So there's a bit of play to it depending on what you want to do. Shadow Spear. I haven't got anything to stick that on though. They can play a 1 ring this turn. That'll buy them something. Ancient Tomb. So they can go to 1 to play another copy of the 1 ring. I think I'm alright with that. Alright, we win the game. We managed to just stomp, stomp, stomp. Okay, let's go for it again. Do I want Conquerors over the removal spell? I don't think so. I think being able to blink like a Fury is pretty strong too. Let me just go back in again. This hand is unplayably bad, so let's mulligan. Okay, I'll keep this one. So this is... We keep our actual lands that play stuff. Undermountain Adventurer needs a green, so it's the Ancient Tomb that goes. Done. Our opponent is on the play though, which is pretty big in this matchup. If you can get out ahead, like you saw, we got out ahead of our opponent in the last one and managed to get there. Not a great turn 1 play, but it does kind of change the dynamic of every single creature they play. Not the one we wanted there. I think we play out the Ancient Tomb. It gives us the most options for other plays. This Fury is probably going to gobble up our Broadside Bombardiers. We want to play the Undermountain Adventurer, maybe kill a creature off. But the fact they can just get hasty creatures is kind of annoying. Magus of the Moon, that's fine. Not really how I want to burn a Fury, but I think if we blow this up and then just keep playing Undermountain Adventurers, then we're probably A-okay. Let's dome this guy. And we get to play a giant Undermountain Adventurer. Vigilance pretty good in creature matchups. We're going to get our green source so we can play the next Undermountain Adventurer. And then we'll be running through this dungeon in no time. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Sure. It's quite a fair card in the context of what's happening right now. We're going to go to Forge. We just want to be large and killing our opponent. This also makes us dodge a lot of red removal. Elvish Spirit Guide. So we'll attack with our big Vigilance creature. Play another one of our big dirty giant men. We get to dome our opponent for 5 here. We've got a lot of beef as well. It's going to be hard for them to take the initiative back. And so this taps for 2 mana. 3 mana. So we can't play the other Undermountain Adventurer just yet. But we get to go into Throwing the Dead 3 most likely next turn. And that's going to be a very difficult thing for our opponents to come back from. We're going to have a massive hexproof large creature for a turn. Alright, they're bidding off 2 cards. Not surprised, they need to find a very specific set of things to get them out of this situation. Fury could kill 1 Undermountain Adventurer. Alright, they've had enough. We just made some guys, turned them sideways, and managed to get there. Right, I do prefer our opponent's Stompy deck just generally. But the ceiling of what this initiative deck can do is pretty great. Let's go to round 3. I believe in Once Upon a Time to find us a creature that we can stick on turn 1. We've got 12 hits. We see 5 cards. Can I make a turn 1 initiative monster? Let's find out. Will it get countered? Who knows? I'm going to take this Seasoned Dungeoneer. I'm going to play out this Lotus Petal. Okay, so we're going to do it uncounterably just to make sure we're okay here. So human, and then we go and get red mana. Yes, green mana would be nice, so we can get the Undermountain Adventurer going, but I think we just have to get the thing for the spell that we have in hand. Okay, the initiative is in our court now. Let's see if we can maintain it long enough to win. Surveil land. So this could be Blue-Red Delver, or it could be Show and Tell. We've already seen how the Show and Tell matchup goes. We'll crunch them a little bit, and then they'll just play something bigger. Show and Tell is better for us than Omni Tell, because they don't just get to cast the Emrakul and get the trigger and ruin our day. Again, we are forging. We're just trying to get this game won as quickly as possible before our opponent can do something to upset us. Undermountain Adventurer. Remember that play I just spoke about a second ago? How frustrating. Let's see where this Seasoned Dungeoneer takes us before we play any lands out. What's on top of our library? Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Would you like to put this card into your graveyard? No, I'd like to draw that next turn, please. I'll play out this mountain. We don't get to play anything else on this turn. So we could have done it in a different way, but the way we did plays around counter magic, and we're going to have an uncounterable Caves of Chaos Adventurer next turn. If they Show and Tell in something like an Atraxa, we might even be able to beat that here. 5 plus 6 is a lot of damage. Show and Tell. Well, this is what we got. Attack. How bad is a sneak attack going to be for us, one would wonder. I can live through an Atraxa. And Emrakul will take out all of our permanents. Dome our opponent for 5. So they go to 7. And they scoop up all of our permanents. Don't do it, opponent. Don't do it to me. Ooh, an Archon of Cruelty. Sure. We're going to lose both things. And both things in our hands. So it's kind of similar. Attacks and we lose the other ones. And they're going to get the initiative here, which also sucks. Ooh, these matchups are not good for us. Now they are in the initiative. They get another land. We've got a blank draw on top because we don't have the Ancient Tomb that we wanted. So they need to find any monster from their deck to win. I guess Atraxa doesn't win necessarily, but it should be able to find the stuff to get that last single point of damage down. Okay. Caves of Chaos Adventurer, you can stay there. Our opponent knows that we've drawn this Caves of Chaos Adventurer because it was revealed. Alright, so they get some surveil action to try and find them another monster. 1 top, 1 bottom. We should be dead. It's either a cantrip or a monster. Which monster is it? We're not technically dead. We're still not technically dead. Okay. They gain 7 and go back up to 20 here. But if we can draw like a City of Traitors and deploy the Caves of Chaos Adventurer, maybe we can get back in. But they might have a cantrip to try and find another monster here. Sneak attack, putting something in. It's another Atraxa. Okay, is this one going to reveal an Emrakul? A Simian Spirit Guide, that is good enough. Oh, there's an Emrakul there as well. Sure. Okay. The Simian Spirit Guide would have been enough. Maybe take the Simian Spirit Guide for the stylings. Okay, so we've already discussed that this matchup is pretty bad. We can maybe take out some of their guys with these. We could try and hit their artifact mana, but I think we just need to go fast. I don't think Magus of the Moon is good here. So maybe we do get a couple of Conquerors in. We don't really need this Endurance either. Something like that. A turn 1 Big-O. That's what we need. I guess we take the one that hits the hardest, which is the Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Not looking forward to getting counterspelled here. Please don't force a will me. Oh, we're in. So now we can get a white source here. So we have the Solitude to kill any monster they can put into play. If they're like just trying to show and tell in an attractor or something. And you have the Clarion Conqueror, just as like a fine guy. But maybe if we draw like a Lotus Petal or something, we can get the Dungeoneer in next turn. And just really ramp up the damage. Our deck is very much a Route 1 deck. A Lotus Petal from our opponent. Are you doing anything with this? Let's forge. A Simian Spirit Guide. Okay, I think we attack with the Caves of Chaos Adventurer first. Once upon a time. Don't need that one. So we have an option here. We can cut them off of 1 mana. Like, we deal them 5 next turn, then we deal them 7 plus this. So we don't need the Seasoned Dungeoneer. So I think the correct play here is to play the Conqueror and try and stop them from comboing next turn. Because this is going to shut off their Lotus Petal. So they're getting taken back 1 mana now. And then we have lethal damage on the backswing next turn. And a Braid on that guy. So that means they're technically not dead this turn. Trap. To the face. We need to find 1 point of damage from somewhere. Our deck's not very good at just 1 additional damage. Ooh, we're going to see... Ooh, a Consigned to Memory on the trap. We didn't have lethal anyway, so... It doesn't actually change the clock here. A Broadside Bombardiers that we can't cast. Cool. We're very much just hands off the wheel, all in on what we've got. Right, and that was enough apparently. Let's go to the final game. I think our opponent is heavily favoured on the play, but sometimes we can just make a big stupid guy and win the game. What does this hand do? It makes a big stupid guy. I'll keep this. A ponder. I think we probably lead off on the Undermountain Adventurer, because it means that if we get a Cavern, we can put on human and it's better for us. And also, this taps for mana, so it means that we can go and get our basic, then next turn we can guaranteed cast another monster. A Lotus Petal. Play a City of Traitors. Play a Lotus Petal. Play out a Lotus Petal. Let's cast the Undermountain Adventurer. I'm going to use the Spirit Guide because it only makes green mana, whereas Petal makes mana of any colour. Force of Will. Yep. Pitching Force of Will. Let's see if they kill us this turn. Or effectively kill us by putting in something we can't really deal with. Lotus Petal from our opponent. Into Tomb. Show and Tell. Which of these is best? I think... Is it the Caves of Chaos Adventurer? Because the Caves of Chaos Adventurer will dig us a card on our turn. And if we exile a Solitude, we can still pitch cast it by getting rid of a card from our hand. So I think it's a Caves of Chaos Adventurer. I guess it doesn't matter because they have an Omniscience. Alright. You got an Emerald Core over there? They do indeed. Alright, that's us scrubbing up pretty hard. Okay, that's 3 rounds down, 2 more to go. Have you got magic cards you don't want taking up space in your home, or do you just need some extra spending money? Well, my lovely sponsors, 3for1 Trading, are buying all collections, big and small. They are one of Europe's biggest traders and have a transparent process to sell them cards and make sure you're getting a good deal. Click the link in the description of this video to get an offer on your cards today. This is too many Once Upon a Times for me, so I'm going to send it back. Need to find a coloured source. Do I believe in Once Upon a Time? I believe in Once Upon a Time. I might regret this, but here we are. If we put back the City of Traitors... We're kind of just all in on the first thing we play. That's pretty much what our deck does. Cameo. A Brainstorm. A Brainstorm like this, though. Just straight away Brainstorm immediately. That is very peculiar. Once upon a time, I would like you to resolve, and I would like you to find me... Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, Ancient Tomb, let's play you out. So we've got Ancient Tombs ready to go. If we get Wastelanded, it's not that big a deal. But... yeah, our hand not coming together. Need like a Elvish Spirit Guide or something? No. Okay, we're just going to play another Ancient Tomb, I suppose. I get the feeling our opponent is a combo deck. The way they brainstormed on turn 1. Probably Omnital, which is just absolutely classic. If we play a deck that's really weak to a relatively small percent of the meta, we play against nothing but that deck. But our current hand is basically weak to anything because we are in trouble. So is this going to be show and tell? Okay, we're jamming this Emeria, Archon of Emeria. No more spells for you, opponent. However, we are not going to win with just this little Archon of Emeria. We need to put some more pressure into play. A forest. Okay, let's get this going. A Force of Will. It's free because of Omniscience. They don't have to pitch. It means they're not casting a Cunning Wish. Really needed that Undermountain Adventurer's resolve as we could go and get planes and play our other spells. Stock up. So this is their spell for turn. Playing their land tapped. So we could see a Cunning Wish in our turn. Oh, Lotus Petal. Why do you suck so bad? Alright, that's our spell for turn, I guess. Peck away for 2. There's a Cunning Wish. Can we get Sublime Epiphany or Wipe Away? That's the Wipe Away. Bye-bye, Archon of Emeria. There's an Attractor. They got the One Ring there, a bunch more draw effects. Do I think we're really... I don't realistically think we're going to beat this. Like, our opponent's got a lot of digging available to them. I just don't think it's worth our time trying to mess with that. Okay, what did we do last time? That makes the moon. Maybe that will sometimes choose a win. I don't think we need the endurance. Maybe just get like a touch of the spirit realm. Like, again, we just say, is this good enough? And turn them sideways. Not a very high agency game, this one. Not really any combat maths involved, just turning things sideways. This could maybe shut our opponent off of mana. I'm going to keep this. And we're going to hope that this makes the moon stop them. Like, they obviously have a number of basics in their deck. But if those basics aren't in their hand, then we can shut off all their fetches and buy ourselves quite a lot of time. We do need a mana source. So it's probably the Ancient Tomb here. Play Ancient Tomb. Put out Lotus Petal. Cast Magus of the Moon. Okay, we get him to Turak for our trouble. We took a stock up. That's not bad. And now we still have 4 mana if we draw one of our payoff creatures. Flooded Strand and Pass is probably going to be a Surveil land in our end step here. Alright, an Undermountain Adventurer. We've got another force. These decks tend not to play Dazers. We could see a Brainstorm. Nope. I guess I could have a Daze. But you tend to see things more like Flusterstorm and Spell Piercers. Alright, they did have another force. Alright, our opponent's got 2 cards in hand. We managed to get rid of 2 stock-ups along the way. And their deck can basically only win if they find Show and Tell. But we currently don't get to cast any spells. Is it even worth playing this out? I don't think it is. Our deck is real fragile. Alright, so they're cycling their Lorien Revealed, making their land drops, getting their way towards the old Show and Tell. Nope, not a spell we can cast. So we could play out the City of Traitors that if we draw a white source we can play the Seasoned Dungeoneer. But I think we need to be able to play multiple spells to try and win this game. And just hope that our opponent doesn't have it. Certainly doesn't look like they have it right now. Okay, we have a spell that we can play. It's been a minute, but here we are. yeah, you go for it, opponent. I don't even know if that's worth counterspelling. Alright, we got 3 Force of Wills down from our opponent. We took an Omniscience with us that time. Okay, we'll pass. So if we draw a white source, we can play the Seasoned Dungeoneer. And then unlocks green source for Once Upon a Time, which hopefully finds us more action. But yeah, this doesn't feel great. Okay, Simian Spirit Guide. It's up to you. 8 beatdown, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're getting close to hard casting something spooky. I can't remember how much Omniscience is. Was it like 10? 10 mana, okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, we have a plan. Play this. We name human. Here we go. A real clock has materialized. I'm going to go and get this forest. If they show and tell in, we put the Archon of Emeria in. I just want to be able to cast this. We can dig for whatever then. Let's forge on the Simian Spirit Guide so that we're like separating our damages out a little bit. Right, let's attack with these. We can kind of use this like a weird Surveil. Broadside Bombardiers. No, I'll take a Broadside Bombardiers. Alright, let's cast a Once Upon a Time. We could just play this Archon uncounterably. I think that's probably the best bet, actually. Actually, no, we can't do this. We already played a land for 10, haven't we? So you had to play the green out. Ugh. Yeah, that was a bit of a spew. We could have had the Broadside Bombardiers. Again, I don't think it matters here. Our opponent dies in our next upkeep. Alright, we tied the game, and then they're going to absolutely smash us in game 3. That's how these matchups have been going against the show and tell decks. This hand does nothing, so mulligan. This sends a big monster into play. I guess we get rid of the Broadside. I think Broadside's probably a little bit slow for what we're trying to accomplish. We're just trying to make a massive friend. They mulligan to 5. So we can just send Big Man into play on turn 1. Maybe that gets it done. We're going to see a ponder here. A forest. Interesting. Alright, once upon a time. What have you got? An uncounterable Undermountain Adventurer sounds good to me. It's going to take a lot of our resources. Let's Lotus Petal. Do you want to counter this? No, they do not. So we're going to name Warrior. I'm going to cast our Undermountain Adventurer and see if we can ride this one card to victory. You can Island Cycle, opponent. So they're playing around Magus of the Moon here. Oh no, maybe not. We've got Hedge Maze. That'd be explain why you would get the forest there and not the trop. Like, surely forest is like the worst land in your deck, unless you need it, sort of thing. Okay, so we get the plains here, so we can cast the Archon of Emeria if we want to. But we're more inclined to just put this in off of a show and tell, because our opponent's going to try and show and tell. Maybe they think they can win by show and telling, and then this stops them from winning, then we get to crack in. Whereas if we play this, it can get counterspelled, and then we don't have that effect. Although our opponent's on reduced resources from their mulligan, so maybe we can squeak over the finish line here. Just get Forge in. All I want to do is turn my guy sideways. Okay, let's once upon a time here. A Cavern of Souls is pretty nice. But we already have Warrior here, so if we take this... No, that's a Barbarian, isn't it? That's a Warrior. Okay, so we take the Warrior here. And then again, we can just put the Archon of Emeria in off of a show and tell. Mistrise Village. Sure. Stock up. You got it, boss. So we're going to hit them for 10 this turn. Put them to 4. So they have to go next turn, or they lose. 5 damage to your face. A Magus of the Moon. Huh. It's unfortunate that we can't get this into play. This will pump... If we play out the Seasoned Dungeoneer, it will pump our guy because it's one of the correct creature types. So we should be doing this. Get an extra 1 point of damage. Alright, our opponent's scooping it up. Alright, we managed to get it. Sometimes just playing the thing and turning it sideways is good enough. And that's basically what we hope for. 4 rounds in, we are 2-2, so a positive record on the line. Let's go for it. Turn 1 Magus the Moon. That's fine. I can live with that. It might do lots, it might not do very much. We've got enough mana that we can play any of the big boys that we draw. What are you getting here? A basic forest. An Elvish Reclaimer. Well, Makes the Moon kind of makes that worse. Okay, let's cast this Makes the Moon. We want to save the Lotus Petal because we can throw that with the Bombardiers down the stretch. They can just activate land. So they could go and get like a Dark Depths so that if they ever get rid of our guy... Oh, they just have one in hand. We are dead to a removal spell. Cool. But yikes. Great timing there once upon a time. I guess we're supposed to be aggressive. For attacks. They can't put 2 lands into the graveyard here, can they? So I think we are attacking with both. If they've got like crop rotation, I guess we can get blown out a little bit here. Feels like we're getting blown out by crop rotation. We could have played this entirely differently. So we went to get a Dark Depths here. They could have got anything and filled it away. So now we just get hit by a 20/20 and we die. Alright, we didn't really need to attack with the Magus. That was just loose from me and I deserve to lose that one. Not really vibing with this deck, if I'm being honest with you. Doesn't feel like the sort of deck I enjoy to play. Okay, so... Archon of Emeria, your land's coming in tapped. A lot of them are going to come in tapped anyway. Makes the Moon, are you good? Are you a liability? I don't know. I don't even know how you're supposed to sideboard with this deck, because Everything feels really tight. Like the endurance can go. That's something. The Bombardiers is good ball control. Like, are we trimming on our big fatties? I don't think we are. Like, how are we supposed to fit all these things in? At the very least, we need some touch of the Spirit Realms. Like, do we get rid of a piece of mana? That seems a bit sketchy. If we move the mana over here, that's what, 27 mana slots is not much. Maybe you get rid of a Once Upon a Time for a touch of the Spirit Realm. I kind of want Furies and Pyrokinesis, but I don't know how we get them. Do we just say no to these and just get a couple of Furies in? Maybe we do that. We didn't need to attack with the Magus of the Moon there. Okay. Turn 1 Seasoned Dungeoneer. Then we'll get ploughed and we'll lose a game. Sounds like a plan. So we'll name Human here. And go and fetch. I think it's probably a white source. Alright, Seasoned Dungeoneer. Can you go all the way? Mox Diamond. Sure. Soul Splashers? Yep. Sylvan Safekeeper. Sure. I guess we're scrying. Put them on the bottom because they don't do anything right now. Cavern of Souls. Then we're just going to die to our own thing here. Oh, this is miserable. Wasteland. You got it. So they're going to get the initiative here. They can wasteland us. They don't have many cards going on over there. But the initiative is going to draw them a card. Which doesn't hurt. They can just keep our mana down here with this wasteland if they want. You got it. Okay, so this is going to be an Elvish Reclaimer. That's going to get them towards Marit Lage combo at some point. Now we can answer Marit Lage, give them a bunch of life. Okay, let's have a forest. So they can forge and kill us with our own initiative here. I think you hold back the Reclaimer here and just try and pump up your graveyard. Because getting in 1 damage now compared to getting in 6 next turn is quite different. We can't remove their guys because of the Safekeeper either. Obviously they could have just sacked to pump more, but I don't think that's really where they want to be. I'll place out name Human. They're going to go get a Flagstones. Just getting a Dark Depth. So they got the crop rotation in hand or the stage. Ordinarily you want to get the stage first because if you get something with the Reclaimer, it comes in tapped. So if you get the Thespian stage, it'll be tapped, which suggests to me they already have access to a Thespian stage here. Yeah, they got it. I don't want to play this game. Alright, that was not a great round for us. I did make a misplay in one game that was pretty costly. I still don't really like where we're at there. We just had a couple of like rubbish guys and we were dead to a single removal spell, which is often the way this deck works. So let's talk about this deck. Honestly, this is one of the least favourite decks I've played for some time. My heart was not really in this one at all. I just don't like decks like this. It's a real glass cannon where our glass cannon is trying to make a 4-drop creature. Not great. Like, obviously, you saw games where we played this early and it just overcame everything our opponent did and it smashed them. But there's a bunch of games where we played it and it wasn't good enough or it got removed and then we just do nothing because we're sometimes spending like 3 cards, 4 cards to get this one of these 4-drops in. And there's no doubt these cards are powerful. But it just feels like you have so little agency with this deck. Now, yes, I did make some mistakes with that little agency I had. But it doesn't feel like whether or not you win the game is necessarily down to anything you do. It's entirely based on can your opponent answer this thing. It's kind of like a force of will checky style deck. But you also lose to removal spells. Because most decks these days have got ways of pressuring you and getting back initiative. So, yeah, I'm just really not feeling this one. Like, obviously, the mana base is terrible because we're kind of just trying to play one thing and then we're hoping that when we play one of these, it fixes our mana base. We definitely had games where we tried to play one of these, it got countered, we didn't get to fix our mana, we didn't get to cast spells for ages, we just fell apart. It just feels like there's like 1,000,001 different ways this deck can just collapse in mid-game on earlier turn 1 even, if your opponent has the right answers. I can understand how this deck, like if you spike high, the ceiling of this deck is really powerful. You just play a big thing that your opponent can't deal with and then it's lights out. But it just feels like this deck is really prone to doing nothing or getting collapsed super easy. And I really don't like that sort of deck. I think, you know, there are stronger glass cannon decks. Obviously, Oopsal Spells is probably the strongest glass cannon deck we've ever seen. It's not really a glass cannon anymore, it's just a cannon. But that can send something on turn 1 and win the game. Whereas we're spending 4 mana to make a guy that sometimes wins the game, but sometimes doesn't win the game. and I'm not really sure if that's where I'd like to be in Legacy right now. But, you know, sometimes you just want to just stomp around, and they don't come much more stompy than these initiative creatures, really. Not even any, like, Swords to Plowshares in the board is really interesting as well. Like, is Solitude the right call here? Like, I understand the reasoning is that we're not always going to have a white source to cast a Swords to Plowshares. But we're not always going to have a white card to pitch either. We've got 12 white cards in our main deck. That's not a lot of cards to pitch. So I'm not really sure about the configuration of this. There's a few other configurations of this deck with a few little different tweaks here and there. But this is the one that did, I think this was like 5th in the challenge result. So I thought I'd give it a whirl. And yeah, this is not the deck for me. Maybe you Stompy Enjoys out there will get something out of it. But yeah, I can't see why people would want to play this deck, really. It does not appeal to me. All right, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and goodbye. If you'd like to support me in the channel, please check out my Patreon. It has a free guide to budget turbo depths, as well as 3 tiers of support. A low-cost one that enters you into my monthly raffle for a free donation deck on the channel, a mid-tier subscription that gives you access to my detailed turbo depths guide that is updated every month, as well as regular articles, and lastly, the higher tier gives you all of the above, as well as a monthly donation deck for my channel. If you're interested in supporting the channel this way, please check out the link in the description.